Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Jeannie Barrow. In today's training, I want to tackle an issue that I'm noticing is happening with me, and it's also happening with the audiences that I speak with. When I set my goal of, for example, in this particular case, of staying fit, and I start doing a regiment around my meals, my exercising, and sleeping, right? I'm moving every day. What I notice is that when I get busy, like I'm sure you do too, I tend to fall off the wagon. And then once I miss 1 or 2 days of, let's say, my movement, I tend to get discouraged and I start beating myself up because I say to myself, I can't believe I missed 2 days of walking. And my friends, here's where I want to support you with this training to figure out what it will take for you to stay consistent. And if you fall off the wagon, that instead of thinking that's it, I'm off my plan, that instead you give yourself grace and forgiveness and get back on that wagon. So let's do this together. This is happening to me right now because I am in a couple of months of a lot of activity. I have over 8 speaking engagements scheduled for this month alone. And I have another 4 already scheduled for the following month, which means that I have to be super organized and prioritize what gets my attention next while also running my business, ensuring that I have my social media running, that I have my masterclass that's coming up in November scheduled and working on the content for that, ensuring that I'm still building partnerships with potential affiliates and with my partners who support me and who I support in the corporate world. And doing all of this while also preparing for my talks and delivering value and being impactful in allowing my audiences to benefit from my 33 years of experience. So I feel a really strong responsibility to do all of these things and to do them effectively and to do them in a way that it's going to improve and enhance how my audience members walk away from these trainings and these workshops with tools and strategies they can leverage right away to begin implementing and achieve their goals and advance and grow in their careers. So let's talk about this from this perspective. What are your number one goals right now? And how is what's happening around you preventing you from taking proactive steps towards your goal? And so that's going to be our starting point. Once you identify what are your key goals, and you can say to yourself, these are the things that are keeping me from taking action steps, I want you, number one, to give yourself forgiveness and say, okay, this is the situation right now. I have all of these things that I want to accomplish. However, because of my current situation, which is temporary, by the way, as you've heard me say before, I can only do this right now. And so the first is to give yourself forgiveness. And once you do, your shoulders go down, you can breathe a little deeper, you get a sense of more peace than you would if you're beating yourself up. So I'm sure you've tried the beating yourself up method, which I have. And so let's try the opposite of that. Let's break the pattern of beating ourselves up and let's see what happens when we say, Ginny, I forgive you for not walking for 2 days. And then let's talk about, okay, so given what you're doing, given the situation, what can you do? So for me, what I can do is when I finish work today, after all the things I have to do, I'm going to give myself my half an hour. And during the half hour, I'm going to do my walk. So I'm not committing to tomorrow and the day after. I'm only committing to today. So for you, what is that? What are you committing to today that you can do toward achieving your goal? That's how we're going to play it, day by day. And with a growth mindset, my friends, we know that just because something happened in the last week or yesterday does not mean that that's exactly what's going to happen next week or tomorrow. And so from that place, we can give ourselves the mental capacity, the bandwidth to stay creative, to enjoy more peace, and to still pursue our goals despite the craziness and the busyness that we may experience out here in the external world. The second piece is to pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to the patterns in your thinking. Where do my thoughts tend to go typically? And catch yourself in that train of thought. And when you do catch yourself and you begin to see the patterns, make an empowering choice. And the empowering choice is to stop those thoughts in their track and flip them over to gratitude. So when you find yourself beating yourself up, negative self-talk, whatever the case may be, that typically is what happens. We don't catch ourselves having empowering thoughts of, oh, I'm going to do whatever I need to do and everything's going to be great. No, we typically go into, oh my goodness, if this is the case today, then tomorrow this is going to be worse and worse and worse. And we start piling on with disaster thinking. And so let's stop that train. Let's come to this present moment and let's shift into an empowering thought around gratitude, around what you forgive yourself for, or around what you're committing to do going forward. And I hope that these two strategies of, first of all, acknowledging where you are, acknowledging your patterns, giving yourself forgiveness, and shifting to gratitude, I hope that these two strategies alone can support you in continuing to make progress toward your goal, even when you feel like you're failing flat on your face. And let's fall forward together. This is not about perfection. It's all about making progress consistently, despite how small the steps that we take. And when we do that, and when we accept ourselves just the way things are, we feel more peaceful. There's less crunchiness inside of us. We can breathe easier. We can listen more actively, and we can be more patient with ourselves and with others. So I'm saying all of these things for myself as I share them with you too. So I hope this training has been valuable for you. In November, I am hosting the Women's Fearless Leadership Masterclass, and it's going to be over 3 days, the 15th, 16th, and 17th of November from 12 to 1 p.m. during lunch. This is the early bird registration. So go ahead to Fearless Leadership Masterclass and save your VIP seat if you happen to be listening to this training before November 15th, 2023. I hope to see you there. Live with purpose, live with joy.